Hi, this video is about the warm-up games that we will do before engaging into the real play fight. Those games help to warm up the body, to get stretched, and also to warm up the spirit and create momentum to arrive until there. And also to create awareness about the different elements that happens during a play fight. So the warm-up games are 4 different games. The first one, the basic one. The people will go into couples and they will need to touch each other's knees. So very easy, very simple. They will have about 2 minutes and they gain a point every time they touch the knee of the other person, and at the same time they don't allow the other person to touch their knees. So it's going to be a bit chaotic and a bit messy, all great. Then after 2 minutes you pause and you say, great, how was it for you? And people will share, it was a bit, was hot, was intense, was fun. Say, great. Those are all elements you will find in a play fight, in the real match. Now the second exercise is similar. You need to touch a part of the body of the other person, but the part of the body is the ear. And the way you touch to gain a point is this, the most gentle as possible. If you touch roughly, you lose a point. If you touch any other part of the face, you lose a point. So you gain a point only when you touch gently the ear. You can touch the rest of the body of the other person, but not the face and not roughly the ears, just softly. They will do. It's useful if you give a demo with somebody so they understand what it's about. And they will go for it for 2 minutes and then you will make them share. How was it? What was the difference? And it's important that while they share the differences, certain elements come up. For example, they needed much more awareness of where to touch and how to touch. Do it gently, do it softly. The connection, because the ears are close to the eyes, they look each other in the eyes much more. Before they were like focused into the game of the knees, and now there is a person all of a sudden in front of them. So usually those elements come up by just allowing them to share, one person or two, if they don't mention them, because this creates again awareness of what is happening in the play fight. The third game, this is different. This is about going to the ground, and the purpose is to bring the 2 feet of the other person together, touching each other. Doesn't matter in which part of the feet, but they need to touch just for a second. This is the way they earn their point. And at the same time, they need to avoid that the other one make their feet touch. Again, give a demo, usually it's helpful. And after 2 minutes, they share. So usually the sharing is about, wow, much more physical, much more intense. We were rolling on the ground and difficult to use the strength and to feel the opposition, because it's no more just touch, but it's actually forces that oppose one another. Those are all elements that are present in the play fight. So it's good that are spoken by them or by you. First, try to make them speak. Fourth and last game. Similar to the one before, they need to put the feet on the floor for 3 counted seconds. Doesn't matter if they touch, they don't need to touch the feet. But they need to touch the floor. At any part of the feet, doesn't matter. But they are touching the floor. And they, themselves, they need to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. So they will have 2 minutes to try, and after, again sharing. This last dynamic add the other complexity, which is the effort to keep some resistance or some position for a prolonged time, 3 seconds. So much more physical engagement, more closeness, more strategy. How do I use my body to keep the other one down? How do I use my weight? How do I not lose too much energy? And then you will say, great, after these 4, the next steps is time, because the play fight is similar to what you just did. Instead of using the feet, we will put the shoulder blade on the floor. But now you played for 2 minutes, and now you will play for 7 minutes, for a bigger time. So another complexity will enter in game, which is, how do I preserve my energies? How I don't waste all my power in the first 2 minutes? So warm-up games, and usually you can have 2 formulas. Either you start right away, you don't say almost anything, and you start with the warm-up games, and then you give the intro, and then you play fight. Or what I would suggest you is you give first a bit of intro, then you give the warm-up games, and then you add few words, and then you give the first play fight.